So once I got back from India, I opened the brick and mortar and, I needed to get the word out about the store. So I'd print out this flyer and I'd go to the different businesses and I'd leave the flyers out, on their window or wherever they had a set space in. And every time I would go to all these different locations, I'd see some sort of monitor or TVs that just were shut off, but they're just there, just sitting there empty. And this was like every single place I was going to. So that made me think, hey, like that can be somewhere you advertise.
Welcome into the ROCC Pod, produced for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. I'm John Gay from Jag and Detroit Podcasts.
I'm Lisa Bibby with Century 21 Northlands. And today we're welcoming Tahura Holly and Nikunj Jain from Corqueboard. But before we ask about the business, I've got to hear your story, Tahura, about moving to India for 5 years and learning the jewelry making process. And you actually have a brick and mortar store called Festive Essentials.
Yes, right here in Hamtramck. I moved to India in 2017, right after we got married. And yeah, it was definitely an experience because I did not speak the language. Everything was new to me. Even though I'm brown and everyone thought, oh, she must be Indian. I'm not Indian. But it was really a great time. I definitely have to learn everything on the ground myself, like going into the markets and bargaining and learning all the different terms and skills. And it was a great time. I definitely learned a lot.
When we were getting married, I'm from India and I came here for the wedding. I had worked here previously in Michigan as well. That's how we met. But for Tahura to get Indian jewelry for the wedding led her having to drive to Chicago, having to go to New York, having to go to Toronto. And
Wow.
Nothing that really fit or really was fashionable in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved to India where my job had taken me, and it's abundant. There's so much in art and culture. And that led to this idea of like, well, what if I take this back and help people in Michigan get access to better jewelry and better way of showcasing their culture?
Well, that's great because there is a huge Indian culture here in Michigan. So for them to be able to have a local store where they can walk in and buy the jewelry, I think is fascinating. So how did you two meet?
Well, we met at a hookah bar actually in Dearborn. Initially, we were with our own friends, and then I guess our technically first date after that was at the Henry Ford Museum.
I love the Henry Ford Museum, and it's such a hidden treasure in our
Yes.
area.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, you work together, you're married. How have you navigated the challenges of owning a business with your spouse? Because that can be tricky sometimes. As he laughs nervously.
Right. I saw the looks go back and forth between the two of you. How to best answer this question.
There are definitely times. So personalities matter. I'm much more overpowering. I will try and be like, hey, we should do it this way. And Tahura's like, okay, all right. Till it reaches a certain point and she's like, okay, now it's too much. Now you're in too much. So it's definitely a push and pull, but
He's more outgoing and extroverted, and I'm more introverted. So we definitely have to work with that. And he has to force me out of it sometimes to, let's go do this, and this would work, and I need to network and things like that. So we definitely help each other in, those aspects. Yeah.
Well, I would love to make a suggestion. I think a lot of people think couples therapy is only for people who have problems, but I actually believe couples therapy is actually to help you both communicate better. So whether or not you're doing that, I would highly suggest that add that as a business expense because you guys need to communicate as best as you can. And it just might be a really unique way for you guys to grow stronger together in your relationship as well as your business.
That's actually a great idea.
I love that. And I feel like I'm looking in a mirror a little bit because I am the extrovert and my wife is the introvert. And we have figured out that, opposites do attract and our skill sets do complement each other very well. So she's the one for my business where she will do all the analytical stuff and the numbers. I'll have the idea, but she's the one behind the scenes figuring out how to help me make it work. So when you have the differing personalities and differing styles, that can be a wonderful thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's also the brutal honesty that, between husband and wife, this doesn't work. That's it. There's no trying to make it sound nice or polite. It's just like, hey, it's still too complicated. Make it simpler. That's where Tahura has helped tremendously on, how is the upload process? I'm a business. I don't have time. 5 steps. No, it should be 3 steps. And I'm like, no, but we need to do this and this other step. No, we need to get it down to 3 steps. So that push and pull is definitely very helpful for us both to grow from a business as well as personal.
I think that's terrific.
So how did your business lead you into your current business, Corqueboard?
So once I got back from India, I opened the brick-and-mortar, and, I needed to get the word out about the store. So I'd print out this flyer and I'd go to the different businesses and I'd leave the flyers out, on their window or wherever they had a set space in. And every time I would go to all these different locations, I'd see some sort of monitor or TVs that just were shut off, but they're just there, just sitting there empty. And this was like every single place I was going to. So that made me think, hey, like, that can be somewhere you advertise, and instead of having this crowded list of papers that are overlapping, why don't we use that? And I kind of shared that with Nick, and then he kind of did the technical side of it, and then we started Corqueboard.
And I should point out, Corqueboard is spelled Corqueboard, Board. Not corkboard like, at your local coffee shop where you're putting a bunch of papers, just like you were saying. This is really a digital way of doing things. So can you sort of explain the setup there a little bit?
Perfect. So we kind of wanted to have a play on the old way of doing things, like the old cork boards, and that's literally what we are replacing. And the idea out here is, how do we help build a network of screens? So instead of you driving around town, spending all that energy, effort, and gas, to now where there's a screen with a QR code that's shown on the screen, and you are scanning that on your phone and being able to download whatever you're seeing on the screen, as well as directly from that phone, be able to upload as well. So our process was really focused on make it simple for every business to be able to do this.
Well, fascinating. So how do businesses use it? And can you tell us a little bit more about what the actual Corqueboard network is?
So the way businesses use it is as though it is an indoor billboard for themselves. They can showcase more of their services, their products. If you're a restaurant, you want people entertained while they wait in line. So this could become a trivia board where you showcase trivia of the region or the area or of the food, show videos of food getting cooked. So that helps entertain people and not feel like, oh, it's such a long waiting time. So that's how different businesses can utilize it. The second part of how do businesses utilize it is it's a simple hardware that gets plugged into the back. Think about your Amazon Fire Stick.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's what gets plugged into the TV. We switch on the Wi-Fi or connect to your Wi-Fi, and that's it. It's live now. So you have your own personal ROCC Pod network now.
Fascinating. So could you tell us a little bit more about monetizing this? Because I love the idea that a business can post their own unique videos and promote their business, but how can they monetize it to actually make passive income?
So if you have a retail store or even if you're a restaurant, we have made the system very simple for even the owners to adjust pricing. So a retail store that is 3,000 square feet may say like, I think my value of that TV is $50 an ad. Well, in the back end, you have an admin portal and you can say like, hey, any ad that anybody uploads is $50. So when you go through the upload process, it will actually take you to Stripe and charge you $50, which we reimburse you at the end of the month. So that way, every location can pick its own pricing. There are certain locations that feel that $300 a month, or there are others that want to do it as for the community free of cost. So in Hamtramck, we have a couple of businesses that are doing it free of cost to promote more of the businesses around Hamtramck.
So I want to make sure I understand this correctly here. So there's almost two pieces to this. There's folks having the screens and making money off selling the ad space on the screens. And then there are businesses who are actually placing their ads, their information, their QR codes on the screen. So there's two sides to it. Do I have that right?
Absolutely.
And I think another point to make here is all of us in the chamber are business owners. We all have a lot of things on our plates, and not everybody is as tech savvy as everybody else. And I love that you're making this simple for folks who may not be tech savvy. Can you sort of walk through how easy the tech piece of it is? Because I feel like it's a lot easier than you would think.
Yes, absolutely. So let's say I'm a restaurant owner and I've updated something on my menu, or I have a special today. You don't have to go on your laptop and create anything. If it's just on your phone and you just want to upload it, you just scan the QR code, throw it up there, make changes instantly if you need to. It's just meant to do things right there on the spot, and it's live right then and there.
So the uniqueness, if I can add something, is when you connect the Corqueboard hardware in the back, every TV screen or every screen showcases a QR code on the bottom left of the screen. And that is linked to all the content that you want to upload or download. So that becomes your main interaction point. And it takes on average about 3 to 5 seconds to upload from scanning that QR code to having completed. It takes nothing more than 3 to 5 seconds.
And multiple screens.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you that. So, yeah, if you have multiple screens throughout your business, especially a lot of like sports bars, things like that, they might have 4 or 5 screens. So it all connects seamlessly, or do they need to get that, like, I'm going to call it a fire stick for better, or lack of a better word, the corkboard. So when they put that little stick in, does it automatically sync with all of their TVs?
So that is part of step 1 when we set it up for you, that we will assign that screen to that particular network. So if it's a bar, we assign that same screen or that hardware to the same bar. So it's a one-time setup that we do. It takes us about 10 minutes. And then after that, anything that gets uploaded onto one screen goes live across all of them as well.
Fantastic. Well, and I love that you said that you include a setup, because that's it. So many people, they go, well, it sounds easy, but I don't want to set this thing up. I don't get it. And so for you guys to just even walk in the door and say, hey, we're going to set this up for you. So it's that simple. I love that.
I'll also add that we're recording this on November 4th, the day before the election. So I'm right now excited for anything on a screen that's not a political ad.
Oh my God, please. Yes. Can we just see something that's not a political ad?
We're going to change gears now and ask you a totally random question. It is our fishbowl question of the day. Lisa, would you please pull today's fishbowl question?
Okay, let's dig in here and grab a good one for you. If there was a zombie apocalypse, who are the 2 people you would want on your team? And I'm going to ask each of you separately. So, Nick, you go first.
Ooh. Who are the 2 people I would want on my team?
It's a zombie apocalypse, remember? So,
Yes.
Who are you riding with, Nick?
One is definitely Tahura.
I was really hoping you were going to say that. Okay, good.
Yes. So one definitely will be Tahura. And second, I would say, is one of my close friends, Ravi. He lives in Detroit and very technical, hands-on guy. I think between the 3 of us, we would be able to put up a nice barricade or a fence to prevent the zombies from coming in, or at least be able to create the right structures.
All right, Tahura, what are your 2 that would save you from the zombie apocalypse?
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about it. I think definitely him. And he's just a quick thinker, and I think you need that in that situation. And the other would be my brother-in-law, who's, really hands-on, knows how to survive in the wild, does tons of hiking and camping. So I feel like that would totally come in handy, all those skills. So, yeah.
Good.
Oh, sorry. He was talking to say his name, James. Yes.
Okay. So I love what the 2 of you are doing with Corqueboard, and welcome, of course, to the Royal Oak Chamber. We're thrilled to have you. What's your experience been like with the chamber so far?
It's been amazing. We joined the chamber because we just launched a new product of Corqueboard called Corqueboard Mobile. So it's a digital mobile screen. So think about your old A-frames that businesses put outside highlighting the menu. We built a version of Corqueboard that is a digital screen that is battery powered, that is waterproof, weatherproof, that you can walk around with. And that's essentially what drove us to being part of the Royal Oak Chamber, because there's so many amazing businesses in Royal Oak. And literally in the first week of being a member, we had M3 Investments, Michael, shout out to him. And he walked in, sees that thing and says, I want one. I want it delivered tomorrow.
Sounds like Michael.
Yes. Well, fantastic. Well, it was so great to have both of you guys on our show. And we'd like to hear a little bit more about how our listeners can contact you. So do you have websites, phone numbers you can let everyone know?
Sure. Our main website is Corqueboard, CORQUEBOARD.com. And you are more than welcome to reach out to me directly at 313-378-3893. And I'm local here in Michigan, in Hamtramck. And I love to come in and sit and enjoy understanding the business and how we can help businesses grow, get more visibility. So feel free, I'm not shy to come in and have a coffee and a conversation.
Well, welcome to the Royal Oak Chamber, and we're excited to see where your business takes everyone, including yourselves. My name is Lisa Bibby. I'm a realtor with Century 21 Northland. I put the real back in realtor. We want you to love where you live. Questions about buying or selling your home? Call my cell at 248-981-3610. My website is soldbylisab.com, and you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Sold by Lisa B. Let's connect.
And I'm John Gay from Jag in Detroit Podcast. If you have any questions about podcasts, starting a podcast, improving a podcast, anything about the podcasting industry, I'm the podcasting guy. You can find me at jagindetroit.com, or you can find me on social at jagindetroit. I want to thank you for listening to this episode of the ROCC Pod, produced for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. For more information about the chamber events, and how you can get involved, you can visit royaloakchamber.com. Thanks, everyone.